welcome back to another episode of Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning. I can't wait to see what you have for me today. Let's get started. Question number 1. Does your husband work out as much as you do? Are you going to make sure your kids exercise? Okay, well, first of all, yes, my kids absolutely exercise. But here's the thing I've learned about kids, and I go back to when I was a kid. I'm at a funny spot with my son on this because my son decided that he wanted to play like every sport there is out there. This time, like a year ago, he was like, Mom, I want to sign up for soccer. I want to sign up for basketball. I want to sign up for football, jiu-jitsu, golf, and tennis. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have really busy afternoons, but I'm all good with that. I think more is better. I want these kids outside or moving around, using their bodies. And now he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do all these things, which is fine. We'll choose the ones that work. But what I remember from being a kid is my dad is such a huge basketball player. And my dad, by the way, is an amazing basketball player. He is, and this is fact, you can look it up in the records of North Carolina state history. He is the all-time leading scorer for the North Carolina Men's Senior League in basketball. That's right. Go look it up. That's my dad. Very proud of him. And the fact that he's still playing full court basketball, he's 79 years old. Love it. I think it's fantastic. But I remember when I was a kid and my dad was really into me when I started playing basketball because he loved basketball so much. And he really pushed me in it. And I kind of like pulled back some. And I think it's because, I don't know, when you feel too much pressure, maybe you like recoil and that's like a natural kid response. So I'm doing my best to try and balance that with my kids. My daughter seems to be into everything still, so we're not quite there. Like my son is like, I don't want to do this much, but he asked me to do all this stuff, just FYI. But yeah, so my kids are active. They're very active. And I think one of the great things living in the state of Florida is that pretty much year round, my kids can always be moving their bodies. They can always be outside. I mean, unless it's raining out, like pouring or we have a thunderstorm or something, which usually they just blow through and then they're done. My kids are outside. They are on a bike. They're shooting baskets. They're playing in a pool. They're at the beach. They're doing something physical outside, which I think is great. And I'm so lucky that we live in Florida and they can do that. Does my husband work out as much as me? What's funny is that when we first met, he really didn't. And I think that I was probably, I'm going to guess, but he'll probably agree with this, a little intimidating with the way I operate. So I think for a long time he was kind of like, I don't know, I'm not going to like go work out with her. We work out together sometimes now. But yeah, he goes, I would say Eric Trump is like a 5-day a gym kind of guy, a 5-day a week gym kind of guy. So yeah, he's getting time in at the gym. And I think he understands kind of my mental need to do it, which previously I think he was like, this lady's a little bit nuts. Like this girl's kind of crazy that she's got to go to the gym like this. But you know what? You do what makes you feel good. You do what makes you happy. You do what keeps you sane. And certainly for me, that includes spending time in a gym or doing some sort of physical activity. Next question. How different is Florida from growing up in North Carolina? It's a different vibe. Florida, what's funny is that when you live in Florida, although it is the southernmost state in the country, I still don't really consider this the South. Like to me, the South is North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Like that's sort of our like southern kind of charm area. It doesn't feel like the South per se down here in Florida. It feels like Florida. There are some similarities because I grew up in a beach town. I live in a beach town now. We had, the Barrier Island, which is where I grew up. Wrightsville Beach is a barrier island to Wilmington. We have that here where I live in Florida as well. But North Carolina, I think, it was sort of like the quintessential upbringing. I will say that. I feel so lucky to have grown up where I did and when I did. And, as a kid being able to, I went to public schools my whole life, but I also, my brother and I had this little John boat that we had that our parents, I don't know why, but our parents trusted us at, I'm thinking like 10 years old, I probably was, going out on this John boat and just being able to kind of like pop around to the little islands around where I grew up. And it was just such a great way to live, to exist. This is pre like really having cell phones. We had one of those big brick cell phones in like a plastic bag on the boat in case we needed. Our parents and I did need them one time to come bail me out with my cousin Victoria. We got stuck on one of those islands. But, you know, it was a great place to grow up. They have the similarities, but I do think that where I live now, and even where I grew up now, is different than when I was a kid. Everything was so much smaller. You know, the world seems so much bigger and farther away, and Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach were so small back when I was a kid, and I'm grateful for that because I feel like it grounded me. It made me who I am. I still have lifelong friendships from so many of the people that I grew up with, so it's great, and all my family still lives there, so I feel very lucky for that. Lara Trump here. You may already own a firearm, but before you face the financial and emotional weight of pulling the trigger, consider Byrna. Byrna's less lethal launchers fire tear gas and kinetic rounds designed to incapacitate attackers for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to escape and call for help without deadly consequences. And now it's time to meet the all-new compact launcher. Sleek, slim, and hits like a sledgehammer. About the size of a smartphone, it's perfect for concealed carry. Comfortable, discreet, and confidence building. The compact launcher fires at 400 feet per second with 41 joules per square inch of stopping power. That's enough force to halt a threat cold, without the legal and moral complexities of lethal force. What I love about Byrna is they're proudly American. Over 80% of their compact launcher's components are sourced in the USA, and each unit is hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Best of all, Byrna is legal in all 50 states. No background check, and ships directly to your door. And it's trusted by hundreds of police departments and government agencies around the world. Visit Byrna.com to learn more. That's BYRNA.com. We live in a time where speaking the truth often comes with a cost. But silence has a cost too, and it's one we can't afford. Live Not by Lies is a powerful new docuseries that shines a light on how soft totalitarianism is gaining ground in America. Based on the best-selling book by Rod Drehar, the series shares real stories from men and women who lived under brutal communist regimes. They know what it's like to lose freedom, and they see it happening in the warning signs here. Through gripping personal accounts and powerful interviews, the series shows how surveillance, censorship, and ideological conformity are not things of the past. They're happening now, often disguised as progress or protection. You can stream Live Not by Lies today by joining Angel Guild. Visit angel.com/Lara to join. That's angel.com/LARA. Watch it, share it, and stand firm for faith, for family, and for freedom. Okay, next question. Were you upset that you didn't go to the White House Correspondents Dinner last weekend? Nope, not upset at all. I got to tell you, I went last year, and it was fiasco is an understatement. You are talking about, I think it's like, how many 2,000 people, something crazy, crammed into this one ballroom. It is like full-blown chaos getting in and out of there. You're just bumping into people. It's super tight. You know, none of those people liked me. None of those people wanted me there. But you know what? I showed up. Yeah, I showed up. No problem. Happy to go anywhere. I got no problem with anybody. So no problem not going to this thing this year. I got some invites to some after parties. Very nice. Thank you. I'm very humbled that you offered the invite. Didn't take them because I wasn't there, and not upset at all in the least that I did not go to the White House Correspondents Dinner. Next question. Will you and Tulsi do a workout video like you both talked about? Yes. By the way, yes. And you know who else I want to invite to this? Bobby Kennedy. I mean, this guy is in great shape. That's one of the things, you know, I'm looking back like a year and a half ago when, remember, he was trying to primary Joe Biden to run as a Democrat for president. How long ago was that? That feels like eons ago. Look at all the things that have happened. And I remember saying, like, you know what? I'm not mad about this guy doing his workout videos because I love a good workout video. Don't kid yourself. And I feel like he could get down. Like, I don't know that he could do the CrossFit style workouts that Tulsi and I are kind of into, but he's invited. He's 100% invited. I think that it would be a great kind of like humanizing thing for both of them to do something like that with me. Maybe I'll do it for this show. Maybe I'll do it for my Fox show. But Tulsi and I have talked about this multiple times. I'm going to say like 5 times. I will be with Tulsi in a week and I'm going to ask her about it. So I'm going to report back on that. And I will also ask Secretary Kennedy if he would like to join us. So I'm just going to leave you with a stay tuned because that will be coming at some point. Yes. Okay. Final question. Excited about no more food dyes? ? Hell yeah. I'm excited about no more food dyes. Why were these things allowed in our food in the first place? What genius out there thought that we should have things in our food supply that you can't pronounce? Words that you can't pronounce. Substances that have been proven to cause cancer in lab rats. Substances that are banned in pretty much every other developed nation other than the United States. Aren't we supposed to be the leaders here? Aren't we supposed to be the ones that are ahead of the game? We're behind the game in this whole front. As a mom of 2 young kids, I could not be more thrilled that we have someone, President Trump, leading the charge, aided by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Thank God, because you can't look at the fact that we spend more money per capita on our healthcare system and our general healthcare in this country than any other developed nation, and yet we're going in the wrong direction. People are getting sicker and sicker. And not ask yourself, what's going on here? Why is this happening? Why are we becoming more and more obese? Why are we getting sicker and sicker? Why is our, age of life actually regressing? We are living shorter lives right now. And so I think people have been kind of thinking about this, but not willing to fully dig in and ask all the questions because felt a little taboo, no, we're done with that. We're throwing that out. The food dyes are done at the end of 2026. I'm trying to keep them out of my house right now because the more you learn about this stuff, the more frightening it is that we're giving it to young kids, okay? Kids obviously grow at such a rapid rate. Their cells are multiplying at a faster rate than my cells are, and that probably your cells are too. And yet we're going to give them all of this trash to fuel their bodies? No. We're done with that. We're moving on. Thank God. It can't come soon enough. We should have never let this stuff happen, and we should have never let our country get here. But President Trump, yet again, is doing the right thing. President Trump, yet again, is trying to fix it. And I, for one, as a mom, as an American, and just as a human being, I'm very happy to see that those are done. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning. Make sure you send us more. Loved all these questions today. And you can post under this episode. You can go to any of our social media. You know the drill. You know how it goes. We'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump, Wanted for Questioning. Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.